Alright guys, this is about my 5,000th time doing this recording, so hopefully this is the last time. Today we got pause squats, dumbbell bench press, and pause deadlift. I've already done 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the row machine, and I know you guys think that's funny that I include the 10 seconds, but the reason for that is because I want to progressively get better at rowing, not to be a professional rower, but to just build up my cardiovascular system because I don't want to have any problems, whether it be my heart or anything else later on. So that's what I did today. I warm up with planks, Cossack squat, and D handle pull downs. I want to run through that real quick because I'm sure some people think that my warm-ups are ridiculous, and I know they look that way. I'm warming up with the planks because I'm doing pause squats and pause deadlifts, and I need to work on bracing my core. If you don't brace your core properly, or if you don't have a good core, your back's going to hurt, specifically your lower back. And you can probably think back to a time where you've been squatting or deadlifting and your back really hurts. Typically, it's because you have a horrible core or you just are bad at the movement. I'm going to be dropping the time down. I just need to find a way to make the planks harder. And then I move on to Cossack squats. Cossack squats are doing two good things for me. One, they're opening my hips for squat. And I really enjoy that because it allows me to get into the hole better, which means I don't have to worry about a problem when it comes to depth during a competition. Especially when I'll be getting into wraps, I'm going to need more depth. The other thing that it's doing is warming up my hamstrings. And the good thing about that is, one, the hamstrings do play a portion in the squat. They're nowhere near as, I guess you could say, important as the quads are, because we know that the squat is a quad dominant movement, but the hamstrings play a good portion on the descent. It keeps you safe. So it helps anybody when it comes to squats. But the other part for me specifically is that it's helped to rehab my hamstring. I almost have no pain in my hamstring, which is a blessing. This doesn't mean that I'm going to go to sumo deadlift anytime soon. I just don't want to take the risk of dealing with that. But it's getting better. Like I said, almost no pain. So try those out. You'll really enjoy them. I know they look weird, but they are a solid movement. Next is the D handle pull down. And I really enjoy this for priming my lats. And of course, I like to do this if I'm doing a power building or a bodybuilding type split because it's a different movement. But this is warming up my lats. And the lats, the entire upper back plays a huge portion in the squat. And not a lot of people think about that. But the upper back is going to help keep you upright. You can see a lot of people bottom out, especially like during a heavy lift. You'll see their hips shoot up because they got it lower body wise, but their upper back is just awful. So build up the upper back using heavy rows, build up your traps, your rear delts, build up your lats any way that you can. Make them thick, make them strong, and you won't collapse. Another quick point in this is something from Eddie Cohen. When he talks about getting underneath the bar, he's talking about pulling your elbows over your lats in order to lock them into place. This creates yet another shelf to keep you safe. So that is the warm-up. But let's talk about pause squats now. One, pause squats are moving extraordinarily better than last week. Two, one big thing that E-Dog had to teach me is that I can be quick on the descent on a pause squat or on a paused bench because we're not doing a tempo, we're doing a pause. So get to the hole as quick as possible and pause. I know that sounds kind of scary, but you don't take your time on a squat in a competition. So why would you take your time on the descent of a squat at the gym? Specifically a pause squat. So get to the hole as quick as possible. And going back to the Ed Cohen thing real quick, you can see on this 285, and you can also see on just the bar, how wedged in I actually get on my squat. Get wedged in. It's going to hurt, especially if you have a bar with good knurling. But it will save you falling over, and it'll help create that great shelf that you need. So squats went great. One thing that I will do for you guys at the end of the video is I will put in the poundage from last week's variation day, or second day I should say, compared to this week's, just so you can see how much of a difference 1 week made. Now, of course, remember that I was sick that previous weekend, and that took a big toll on me. But it's still cool to see the linear progression that is being made. We've moved on. Now we're at dumbbell bench press, and while I'm warming up 55, 65, then I go to 80s. I will tell you that my ego did get in the way on these lifts. Specifically, after my first set of 80, there was a student in the gym. He was benching. I mean, honestly, he went to 185. He hit it for a good rep, and then he got an assisted rep. Nonetheless, I mean, for an 8th grader, very impressive. But in the back of my head, I said, Cayman, you got to do more than what he did. So I took the 95s and I repped them out for a set of 8. Now, remember from last week, I said I was going to move my rep range from 8 to 10. I end up getting 8. You will see on my 8th rep that I am struggling just a bit to get it. And I know that I'm not going to be able to get my third set in at 95. So I dropped the weight. I go to 85. The problem is, even at 85 pounds, I don't get to 8 reps. I get to 7. Word of advice, drop your ego, let your ego go when you get to the door of the gym. Really, I mean, I guess in all reality, you shouldn't have an ego to begin with, but don't bring it into the gym. People don't like it, and you can set yourself up for getting hurt, and we don't need to get hurt. That's all I'll say about dumbbell chest press today. Now, to get to the title of today's video, liked songs and super gains. The like songs thing comes from my Spotify. Of course, if you use Spotify, you know that you have a liked songs playlist. And I thought to myself, well, let's just press shuffle on my like songs. And I did. And it went from like heavy metal, death metal, to rap, to alternative rock, just alternative music, to sad songs. It was all over the place. I was having a great time because I just didn't know what was going to come next. But with this 3:15, Dean Lewis comes on, and I think that's the thing that killed me the most. I love Dean Lewis. I love his music. It was a super sad song, but I'm just having a good time and enjoying it. So if you want to spice things up and try something new, I highly recommend you going and just clicking your like songs. If you use Apple Music or anything else, you're lame. I'm not even going to say sorry about that. Real quick, let's just notice how last week I did 245 for my top set on pause deadlifts, and here I'm doing 365, which is 120 pounds more. I know E-Dog will hop in the comments and say, oh, you're using wrist straps. I don't care. I'm still getting the weight. I'm still getting the work in. And that's what we're doing here. We're getting work in. This is a secondary movement. Ain't no big deal, buddy. So use what you got to, especially since it's a secondary movement. And when you get to your primary movement, don't back out. That's all I got to say today. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed week. Use my code Cayman15 for any supplement needs at Glaxon. I love y'all. See you later.